I was sitting in a bar on a South Sea island somewhere down near the equator. You know the kind. One of those cheap gin mills with a fan in the ceiling and beads for a door and some clown sitting over in the corner staring at the tabletop. It was a sultry morning in the tropics and it was already hot. Suddenly the beads parted and a broad walked in. A broad. She was the most classically beautiful woman I'd ever seen in my life. She was carrying a cello. I thought for a minute there I'd been drinking too much gin because there was a bright light between her legs. But when she moved, I saw it was just the sun shining through, hitting me right in the eyes. When she walked across the floor, my mind split in two. I couldn't decide if I was looking at a Grecian goddess come to life or one of those sultry Madonnas you see leaning against a lamppost in Paris. When she got to the other side of the room, she pulled out a chair and sat down and started playing her cello. The music that came out was like velvet-covered diamonds. And very soon my insides began to melt and form into the shape of an arrow that was pointed directly at her. Oh, I wanted her all right. But then I realized I had to have her. You ask some joker crawling around the desert if he wants a glass of water. It's a stupid question. Of course he does. He's got to have it or he'll die. The way I felt about her. I didn't know how I'd go about it, though, because she seemed so cool and pristine like an ice princess. She stopped playing that beautiful music after a while and picked up her cello and headed for the beads. Just before she went to step out, she turned and threw me a glance I had to squint from because my eyebrows went up in smoke. Needless to say, it was a hot look. She was the kind of woman who could keep her head in the clouds because she had a furnace burning down below. She could go from heaven to hell and back again in a second, and I wondered if I could handle that. I'd either fry or freeze, but I had to try. By the time I caught up with her, she was lying naked on the beach, spread eagle with a hat over her face. I leaned over and picked up the hat. I was ready for anything but what I saw. A beautiful bouquet of flowers with petals made of silver chimes. Her eyes looked like the eyes of a trapped doe, and I leaned over to gently kiss her. Suddenly she rolled me over on my back and sat down on me with a low guttural growl that sounded like a tiger sitting down to lunch. I don't know if I was scared or happy or both. I do know that the last thing I felt like was a sheep being swallowed by a boa constrictor, and then I was gone. When I finally came to, I could hear her playing her cello off in the jungle somewhere, and I just started laughing at the sun. Well, that all happened a long time ago. She was the most mysterious woman I ever met. I thought I understood the fire in her, because I'm like that. But I could never understand the icy distance she could throw between us with just the sound of her voice. But it didn't seem to matter anyway, so I just gave up trying to figure her out. I won't say I love her. That's a word I reserve for gin on the rocks on a hot afternoon. But I absolutely adore her.